About 40 days and counting, the Dharmasthala mass burial mystery continues to unravel. The digging is on as we speak, digging to find more bodies as is being claimed, and digging figuratively to find out the truth behind these sensational allegations. Remember, back in July, a disturbing set of claims rocked this temple town in the southern state of Karnataka. A former sanitation worker at the Dharmasthala temple claimed he was forced to bury hundreds of bodies by his superiors between 1995 and 2014. These bodies, he alleged, were mostly of women and girls. A special investigation team, or SIT, is probing these charges. Over the past few weeks, they have dug up a few sites at Dharmasthala with the help of the whistleblower. 16 sites, in fact, is what some reports are saying. The list of excavation sites is getting longer with inputs coming in from the whistleblower as well. Human remains have been found in at least 2 sites so far, and that is site number 6 and site number 11. Meanwhile, the whistleblower has given his first interview to a news channel where he has elaborated on these mass burial allegations. Remember, his identity has been under wraps. All we know is that he's a Dalit man in his 40s who was once working at the Dharmasthala temple. In fact, recent visuals show him accompanying the SIT wearing a mask. So in this video, we look at what the whistleblower has to say and how this issue is playing out in the state of Karnataka. Politically, the opposition, the BJP, is all over the Siddaramaiah government. On the ground, some protests have taken place as well to stop or to protest against what they call defamation of the temple and its administrator, Virendra Hegde, who, by the way, is a sitting Rajya Sabha MP and an influential man in that part of the state. Hello and welcome, I am Shubham Chauhan. Let's get started. First, take a look at what the whistleblower has had to say point-wise. First, the whistleblower claims that he, along with a small bunch of people, buried many bodies in forest areas in Dharmasthala without any official oversight or documentation. He says there were no graveyards in that area, or neither was due process being followed. They were just burying bodies one by one. He told India Today, there were no graveyards. We used to bury bodies in forests, on old roads, even near riverbanks. We buried a woman on Bahubali Hills and around 70 bodies at Netravati Bathing Ghat. The whistleblower also went on to say that the locals in Dharmasthala did not intervene or interfere despite seeing them bury bodies on some occasions. The locals allegedly went about with their daily life, and these workers of the temple allegedly continued to bury bodies over all these years. Second point, and this is important, all instructions for burying these bodies came from the temple administration is what the whistleblower is saying. Not some local authorities or panchayat, but directly the temple administration. Temple administration here means the powerful Hegde family, with Rajya Sabha MP Virendra Hegde being the main administrator or the Dharmadhikari of this temple. Third question, on who were these people that the man was allegedly forced to bury? The whistleblower says these were mostly women across age groups, children, young girls, to even senior citizens. The whistleblower told India Today that these bodies he buried had marks of violence and possibly sexual assault. Now, although one must note here that these are his claims, only a thorough forensic examination could give us concrete details, whatever is possible. Fourth, if what the whistleblower is saying is true, that is, hundreds of bodies were buried in Dharmasthala, why is the SIT not being able to find it out at that scale? So, out of the 16 odd sites so far, why didn't the SIT come across more remains, more bodies? In fact, on site number 13 as well, the SIT did not find anything after digging deep. Most of these sites are located around the Netravati river. The man says, that is the whistleblower, he says that the area in question has changed a lot over the years and hence it's becoming difficult. He said, earlier there was an old road we could identify, but after JCB work, we can't locate some spots. The forest was sparse then. Now it's thick. I have come to show them, that is the SIT, the burial spots, relying on my memory. But the soil and land have changed so much over the years. I am doing my best to point out the exact locations, and the JCB should dig wider to help recover the remains. Let people say what they want. We are the ones who buried them, and we are telling the truth. He also went on to say that while he believes in this investigating team, the SIT, it's the SIT that does not believe in him, is what the whistleblower is saying. Lastly, a question that many of you have been asking. If the allegations are so old, why is the whistleblower coming out now? He quit his job at the temple way back in 2014. So why is he making these claims after 11 long years? The whistleblower maintained that the guilt was getting too much for him to handle. He says this was haunting him all this while. The whistleblower claims the guilt was so much that he used to dream of skeletal remains. And now he wanted to just let it out, all of that, so that the truth comes out. Now, cases of people mysteriously missing or being found dead or just vanishing in Dharmasthala have been reported in the past as well. In 2012, for instance, there was the case of Saujanya, a 17-year-old girl who was raped and killed in Dharmasthala, and her killer roams free. This brutal killing of Saujanya had made headlines at the time, with many coming out on the streets demanding justice for Saujanya. The whistleblower said in the India Today interview that he was on leave at the time. As the Saujanya case came to light, the man claims his superiors shouted at him for not being present in Dharmasthala. And next day, the man saw the body of 17-year-old Saujanya. In fact, just the other day, the special investigation team also got a fresh complaint regarding the mysterious death of a woman that took place 38 years ago in Dharmasthala. Last week, a woman named Indravati approached the SIT and she wanted a reinvestigation into the death of her sister Padmalata that took place in 1986. Now, according to her complaint, Padmalata was a second-year PU student at the SDM college in Ujjaini, which is SDM college is run by the Hegde family. Now, Padmalata went missing on the 22nd of December 1986, and her decomposed body was discovered near the Neria stream on the 17th of February 1987, so almost 2 months later. Despite allegations of abduction, rape and murder, this case was never solved. And now, after all these years, her sister wants a thorough reinvestigation into this matter. As we record this, the SIT has not officially commented on this particular case. But as for these claims of burials, of mass burials, of missing persons in Dharmasthala, there's some data coming out as well, thanks to an RTI reply. This is an RTI reply given by the Dharmasthala Gram Panchayat. They say that as many as 279 unclaimed bodies, including that of an infant, were buried in the temple town since 1987 to 2025. Out of 279 bodies, the RTI reply says 219 bodies were of male and 46 were of women. Most of these deaths, the RTI reply said, were due to suicide. And since they were unclaimed, these bodies were unclaimed, these bodies began to rot and giving out a foul smell, and eventually they were buried in Dharmasthala itself. Now, as this mass burial case in Dharmasthala is getting traction, questions are being raised on the Dharmasthala temple administration directly. More specifically, Virendra Hegde, the temple administrator. What was his role? What was the role of the temple administration? And was this town actually witness to mass burials? And was Hegde behind it? These questions can only be answered after a thorough and impartial investigation. But a section of people believe that this whole mass burial case is a lie, that it's a conspiracy to defame and harm Hegde and the reputation of the Dharmasthala temple. Several parts of Karnataka, in fact, saw protests in the last few days, from Chikmagalur, Kalburgi, Koppal to Mysuru, Yadgiri and Belgavi. These protests were undertaken by Dharmasthala temple devotees, BJP supporters and right-wing groups. In Chikmagalur, for instance, over 2,000 devotees participated in a 2-kilometer protest march from the Taluk office to the Azad Park. In Belgavi, a Rasta Roko was staged. All the protests had that common theme, that the protesters that is, stand by Virendra Hegde and that they won't tolerate any harm to the image of the Dharmasthala temple. The Bharatiya Janata Party has found political ammo in this row as well. The party took on the ruling Congress in Karnataka in the ongoing assembly session, claiming there's a concerted effort to defame a Hindu religious site under the pretext of an investigation. The BJP says excavation can't go on endlessly, and they demanded that the State Home Ministry release an interim report on the Dharmasthala alleged mass burial case. The ruling Congress, which is already under fire on multiple fronts, said this is not possible. That is because the SIT probe is still on and no report can be put out in the middle of all of this. Now, that's all we have for this report. We'll keep tracking this story for you like we've been doing over the past couple of weeks, bringing you reports from time to time and bring you up to speed with regards to all the developments from the temple town of Dharmasthala and this shocking case of alleged mass burials in this temple town. That's all we have for this report. Thanks for watching.